Hey guys, I'm Morgan Moore, and thanks for joining us for another episode of Answering the Call, the OEMC podcast. I am joined today with Kayla and Beverly from our OEM team. September is National Preparedness Month, and we have a lot of really awesome things going on. So, Kayla, what can you tell people in general? Why do we have Preparedness Month?
Of course. September is National Preparedness Month, which is the best month for the Office of Emergency Management, as well as Beverly's birthday month. But besides that fun piece, really what we love to embrace about Preparedness Month is truly just at the crux of it, how it is to be prepared in the city and to be prepared in your personal life or even at work maybe, or even when you're traveling. Preparedness topics include everything from making a plan to being ready to evacuate if you had to at a moment's notice, to checking your fire alarm, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, all of these different little pieces that keep us safe. It's just really a great time and a great month to look back and say, am I prepared in the event of an emergency, whether small or big? For 2024, the theme for National Preparedness Month is Start a Conversation. This is a federal campaign to really say, how can you talk with your family, your friends, your office about being prepared for that emergency? And that's really what the theme of 2024 is about, is starting that conversation, being comfortable with talking about the inevitable, because it's not if a disaster will happen, it's when a disaster will happen.
Having a conversation is a big part of just being prepared. Yeah, we talk about what you should put in your emergency kit or different things you need to have in your car in the winter, but just talking to your friends, your family, and getting on the same page almost can make a really big difference.
100%. And I think a lot of people, unfortunately, have this comfortability with just kind of ignoring the idea of being prepared, and they don't want to think about that emergency or disaster situation. It kind of that statement of, oh, it's not going to happen to me. It's not going to happen to my family. And on a good note, Chicago is geographically positioned in an amazing way where a lot of our natural disasters are a little bit minimized in the sense that we're talking about mostly flood or like extreme heat, extreme cold, but they are also potentially very deadly or at least detrimental to your normal routine, normal life. So people always have this concept of, I don't need to worry about it because it doesn't really happen here. We don't have the fires, we don't have the hurricanes, the earthquakes, any crazy disaster, but disasters happen all the time in the city. Over the last year and a half, we've had 2 presidential disaster declarations in Cook County. And that is the first time we've had one in over 10 years, both for flooding and severe storms. So we always know that Mother Nature is going to do what she wants to do best. And it's just about how can we get folks to start that conversation with their friends and family in a way that is special to them and is going to help them be prepared for what might come and will come and how they'll be able to bounce back at the end of the day and recover appropriately as well.
In one of the ways that we here at OEMC, thanks to you, Kayla, have tried to start a conversation with people is by partnering up with Ironheart. We have a lot of different materials, different sort of scenarios for different disasters that can go on. Beverly, you've been out there in the community. You've been, introducing people to Ironheart. How has it been having that superhero element to helping people get prepared?
First off, the fact that it's Ironheart inside of Marvel has made me super happy because I might like Marvel. It is possible. But what I do like about this is it starts the conversations not just with the adults, but with the children. Because when you can get the kids to come on your team and listen to what you're saying and agree with you, then they'll make their parents do it and they'll bug them about doing it. That lady said we need to build a kit. She showed me what was going to be in the kit. Mom, can we put it in there? And I like that. So the conversations that I've been able to have with the community in regards to building out their emergency kits, just going through our little trifold so that we can let people know, do you have these things all in one location inside of your house? With the pull shades that we're using for people to take the pictures in front of. And again, whenever you have children around you, they're going to start doing their poses.
The pictures that Beverly is getting, if you haven't seen them, look on our social media because they are fantastic.
The one squad, they used the pull shade in their flips. Like they did the flips over the pull shade. Oh, I was so scared. I was so scared. But they cleared it like it was nothing. Yeah, it is. I think it is a great way for the community to connect with something that they're already aware of, especially those who are into comics, like the adults that are into comics. They look at it and say, oh, Ironheart, okay. And then you let them know what it's about. and then they'll read it and go back through it, or they'll look it up. They'll go to the links that we have for it so that they can see it.
What has the response been? Obviously with the kids and everything, but we've put Ironheart everywhere, billboards, in the app. What's been the response out in the community?
I've gotten really good response from the community as it relates to utilizing the information that we have that we're giving out to people about being prepared.
Yeah, and I'd say overall, Ironheart, Riri Williams, she is from Chicago.
Yeah.
I think that was an amazing touch
Yeah.
from working with Marvel to kind of bring our own superhero here to the city that already was existing and was in the Wakanda Forever movie. And so it kind of has that notoriety about it. And I think, again, people know what Marvel is. They're excited about Marvel. Everyone loves the movies, at least knows of it. And not everyone knows of OEMC or of emergency management. Sometimes I even have a hard time explaining what I do because we do so much. But just having that notoriety, that name, and people already knowing what that is, and now bringing that extra little touch of preparedness to the entire operation is just amazing. Like, it's great. People are like, oh yeah, I am super prepared. Or what do you mean super prepared? And it's a conversation starter.
Anything else you want people to know about Preparedness Month or why it's so important?
Yeah, sure. I think just to reiterate, Preparedness Month and starting this conversation, that idea of starting a conversation is just so important. Sitting down with your family, or, if you have your pets, for example, are you ready if you had to leave your house right now and be on your own for 72 hours? Would you be okay? We're not going to rely on the refrigerator and freezer. Maybe you lost power. Do you have enough canned food or those non-perishable food items like packs of tuna or like nuts and dried fruits? Do you have enough water? 1 gallon per person per day. Do you have all of your important documents, at least copies of them in a waterproof container or folder that you can take with you, again, if you had to evacuate? So it's kind of like going back and saying, okay, can I take care of myself if I don't have my phone, I don't have power, I needed to leave? And I think also, lastly, the other piece is maybe you already are prepared, but have you checked all of your items lately? For expiration dates. Maybe you had diapers for your kid, but they've grown out of diapers or a different size, or maybe the extra pair of clothes you had for, your daughter who was 7 at the time, but now maybe she's 10, they've probably changed sizes. So it's always important to also take this time as a reflection period to look back on what you might already have and fix that as well.
Not only check your supply, but check on your neighbors, right? That's the one of the big things that we push here. Call 311 if you can't check on them, but check on the people around you who may not be able to get prepared.
Absolutely. One thing that I like to fully strive to push for people to do is to have a community. It is something that, because there's a way that you look out for one another that's way different. My neighbor's son would shovel the snow around my car. I tried to pay him. He wouldn't let me pay him. Then it snowed again. The boy came outside and shoveled again to make sure I could go to work the next day. Like, that's a community, though. And that's what community does. I truly wish that people would talk to their neighbors and build up those relationships so that you all can kind of look out for one another.
Yeah, and I think that really speaks to the idea on a national level of whole community. And whole community is a concept where you prepare together, respond together, recover together. That it can't just be, the government coming in to save the day, because sometimes that takes time. And what you do need, though, is that buy-in maybe of like private and nonprofit businesses in your area. Or maybe it's your neighborhood, to Beverly's point, coming together and helping each other out. But the community is going to be what brings you back after this large disaster or even the small emergency. It really is your community, whether it's, small block or, neighborhood that you live in or the whole city of Chicago. But having that whole idea of a community coming together in a time of, disaster is really what's going to bring us back even quicker and back to normal operations.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And all of this information, it's pretty much everywhere we are, whether it's in person when you're at an event with Beverly, whether it's in our app, on your phone, on the website. We've got all the details of everything that you need to be prepared for really any situation that may come your way.